How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Man, does it feel good to be back, all right? We are back on the grind. I am back in the flesh, all right? I'm ready. I'm ready to start telling stories again. So sit down, gather around the campfire, and listen to some furry stories today. This is going to be a long one, so grab some popcorn and enjoy. So for the story, we're going to call the subscriber Ren. Now, last December, Ren went off to like a military camp, and they were basically in barracks, and there was like four other people in the barracks, all right? It was her and four other girls. And now she was cool with one of her roommates in the barracks. And now the entire point of going to this was so she could advance in a military program that she was in. It was kind of like the ROTC, but it was a little bit different. She got more benefits and stuff like that. And now she was there for about 9 days. And at this point, she had to get herself on the map because, bro, if you're going to be there with 9 days and not know anybody, bro, that is just tough. She gets there and she's like, okay, I got to start making friends like as soon as possible. Now, her and one of her bunkmates were cool at first. And the other three she was not a fan of. Now, the subscriber is a furry, and now she's not really insane about it or anything. You know, she's just chill, does her thing, like, does it at home, keeps it in the house, and honestly, that's how it should be. Like, as long as you just keep it to yourself and just do your own thing, I mean, I don't really see a problem with it. And now this bunkmate that she was friends with, all right? At first, she seemed chill, right? But then it just got to a certain degree where, holy fuck, she was weird as hell. Like, I don't know how it got to this point, but you just get sent off to like a military camp, and then you start rubbing on your roommate's leg like a fucking cat or some shit. Like, I don't know how this person's gonna survive in the military, bro. Like, how is that even possible? Like, having a cat girl in the military is crazy. Like, I don't know how she expects to survive at boot camp, bro, acting like that. And now, of course, she was freaked out to a certain degree because, you know, she's not a huge fan of strangers like just touching her without permission and just like doing weird shit like that. So obviously she politely asked her to stop. And I kid you not, bro, she was like, "But I love you, mommy," and then added the UWU at the end. And she was just like, oh my god, what did I get myself into? Could I really have not got a different room in this scenario? Did I really get stuck with the weird furry or the weirdo that thinks she's a cat? Whatever the hell you want to call it, I don't know. And of course she's gonna freak out because she was in the middle of changing, and yeah, no one likes to be startled when they're changing, bro. They're in their most vulnerable state. Or actually, you know what, taking a shit is probably your most vulnerable state, I'm not gonna lie. Point being though, why would you startle them while they're changing, and let alone just like fucking pretend to be a cat and rub on their leg, bro? Like, what the this girl's got mad issues, and she found this out on day one, which is kind of tough. She's like, holy fuck, I gotta spend like 9 more days with this girl? Are you fucking serious? And if anybody were to walk in at that point in time, of course they would both get in trouble. Obviously, the military is not letting the cat girl slide, and this girl would get in trouble just by association. So, of course, she's like, stop, bro. Like, I'm not into this stuff. And she took it personally, bro. You know, like, all she was saying was like, me personally, I don't rock with that I'm a cat type shit. You know what I'm saying? But but she said, you're not accepting me. You're furry phobic. Furry phobic is crazy. Like, I don't think there is ever a term that's been coined that is so fucking stupid in my entire life. What the hell you mean furry phobic? And plus, how could you be like afraid of, I mean, yeah, fursuits are pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. And if you pretend to be a cat, like, just expect to get made fun of. You just can't go around and call people like furry phobic. It's just like not a normal thing to do to pretend to be a cat. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're gonna get made fun of. Like, it's just the reality. Dude, I still can't get over that. Furry phobic is nuts. You know, people coin the term fat phobic. But if you gotta call somebody fat phobic, like, you're just soft as fuck, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. If you have to use one of those terms that just make no fucking sense, or like some kind of buzzword, bro, you are so soft. I'm so glad they made Twitter like a 600 tweet limit. Thank Jesus Christ. I think we're actually heading in the right direction, finally. Maybe girls like these will finally just get off the internet and stop pretending to be a cat. Maybe. I don't know. But of course, she goes on to say that's her identity, and you're shaming my identity. Bro, you were born a human being, maybe lacking brain cells, born with a little less brain power than the rest, you know? But, like, bro, you are a human being. Stop pretending to be a cat. Like, just because you pretend to be a cat, that does not make you one. It's crazy that, like, some of these insane furries, like, they don't understand that they are literally just a human in, like, a fox or a cat costume, whatever it is. But the worst part about this is that the subscriber is literally, like, a furry herself, but she doesn't act like a cat in public and all this other shit. Like, that is, like, the worst person you could have possibly chosen to call furry phobic. Like, please make that make sense. But after all that was said, she just decided to threaten to tell, like, the officer of training what she was doing, and she got so mad. Like, she could practically see the flames in her eyes and the fucking in her face start to get red. She started growling and hissing. You know how cartoon characters, like, you could see the fumes out of their ears, bro? Like, she was on that Drake timing. Like, you could see the fumes out of her ears and shit. And at this point, she was so scared, she didn't even know what to do. She just took the nearest thing and used it as a weapon. She took a pen out of her pocket to try to defend herself, bro. Like, she didn't know what the hell to do. And I mean, I think a pen should be enough to defend yourself from the cat girl, bro. Like, let's be honest. If we're keeping it a stack, I think a pen will do enough damage, bro. Like, the cat girls, man, they skin and bones. They cannot fight for shit. And after she finishes growling and hissing for 2 minutes, she finally just gets tired and decides to scream, "Feel the wrath of the cat gods!" Just in the middle of this fucking room that they were in. And of course, that drew a lot of attention. And then lunged on all fours and just bit the subscriber Ren's arm. And now at this point, she thought she was like possessed or some shit, because there is no way that this girl would just lunge over and bite her arm. And this girl had like insane grip. Like, she tried shaking her arm around and nothing. Like, she had pretty good teeth strength, bro. Like, she was like, what the fuck? Like, is this girl like possessed by a wolf or some shit? Like, what the hell is going on right now? And since that caught a lot of attention, I mean, no shit, of course that is. The division officer for like training just started knocking on the door. And of course she was like, what the hell is going on in here? What was all that noise? And then the subscriber just says help pretty loud. She busts the door open, and then with her help, she pries her arm loose from the furry girl's jaw. And of course she was like, furry girl, what the hell was that about? Like, why did you do that? And she was like, well, she disrespected the cat gods. And she was like, what the hell does that even mean? The cat gods? Who? What? Listen, your ass is getting expelled. Like, I don't think you're ever seeing the light of day at this camp ever again. And of course she got all mad and butthurt, and they just took her away. And, you know, after that, the subscriber, like, checked her arm to make sure that, like, she wasn't bleeding or anything. And luckily, she just left a mark. There was no bleeding. You know, she was, like, concerned that she would have to get a rabies shot or some shit. But thankfully, not much damage was done. And after that, she never saw her again, thankfully. Anyways, the next story for today is another story about a furry. And, we're gonna call the subscriber for today's story Wyatt. Anyways, this all starts back when he was in 8th grade. And this was at the time, like, right before COVID started. He had a really good friend of his, and, you know, they both liked Minecraft. They played together, like, basically every day. But when COVID shut everything down, there wasn't really much to do, and he got bored of Minecraft really quickly. Then his dad introduced him to weightlifting, and he instantly fell in love. He just loved the feeling of getting stronger every day and seeing muscles replace fat that was on his body. And as somebody who's gotten into lifting myself, I can definitely say, yeah, it's definitely a great thing to get into. Not only does it help with your physical health, but your mental health as well. But of course, in the midst of all this, he didn't realize that he forgot he wasn't like spending as much time with his friend. So he called him and asked if he wanted to play some Minecraft or something. And he responded with this: yes, I would. We can even make our own Dream SMP. And he was like, what the hell's Dream SMP? Now at this point, like, Dream SMP was fairly new, and a lot of people had no idea what it really was. And of course, he was greeted with an unwanted 45-minute explanation of the entire lore of the Dream SMP. After that, he was like, oh yeah, sorry bro, my parents are calling, gotta go, bye. And he was just like, holy shit, I don't understand how another human being can study lore of the Dream SMP that much, goddamn. But yeah, of course he had to pretend like his parents were calling. His parents did not actually call him. It was just a way to get out of hearing more about the Dream SMP. He thought maybe he would just grow out of it by the time school starts up again and he'd just be normal. But boy, he was wrong. When school started, he walks in, and when he gets back to school, he was lifting a lot, so of course a lot of people were like, oh shit, yeah, you look nice, and he was talking to people that, like, he never would have thought he would have been talking to. Like, basically, he just became more popular because he got into lifting and stuff, which is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And then he started looking for his friend, and then all of a sudden, he's just in the hallway, he's, like, looking for his locker or some shit, and then he hears his name being called. The kid was like, Wyatt, and then he turns around, and he sees a furry costume running around on all fours. And he did not realize that it was, like, the costume at first. He was, like, really confused. And, you know, he was just like, wait, no way that voice was coming from the costume. And he recognized the voice, of course, and it was his friend. And he was like, there is no way my friend is in that costume. There is no fucking way. And of course, yeah, it ended up being his friend in the costume. And then this kid just rushed to him and just ended up on the ground with this thing on top of him. And this dude also reeked insanely bad. Like, this dude smelled like fucking ass. Like, it has been ages since bro was jumped in the shower. It was like he walked around in this fursuit 24/7 without even taking it off. And after that, instantly, he pushed him on his ass because, like, what do you even do in that moment? What do you do when a furry just jumps on top of you? He just seemed unfazed, got up and growled, and he was like, I like your muscles, but I don't play rough. And then everybody laughed, of course, because, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know. Like, what do you even say to that? The subscriber was just so confused, and unfortunately, they were laughing at him, too, and obviously, you can't do shit about that. Like, I don't know what do you even do in that scenario? I don't even know. But he just walked to his first period class embarrassed. Well, unluckily, he had the same first period as him, so he just followed him to class. And you won't even believe what the teacher said when he walked in. The teacher was like, hello, friend, or friend of Wyatt's, your things are in the closet. And then they were like, things? What? What the hell are they talking about? And then everyone was shocked as this kid pulled out a giant dog bed, a litter box, and just fucking curled up in the corner of the room. And then he noticed the subscriber walk in, of course. And on all fours, he came up to him, took off like his headpiece of like his furry mask, and started licking his face. And now he just punched him because he's not dealing with that. Like, he's not trying to get sick from this fucking musty-ass kid licking him. And apparently he punched him a little hard, and he knocked out a tooth. And this kid had to go to the ER, and he somehow wasn't suspended or expelled for it. Because the principal, when he went to the office for what had happened, the teacher obviously was mad because, well, she was the one providing him with all this fucking furry shit or whatever the fuck. And he goes to the office, and the principal was like, look, trust me, if I were in your situation, I would do the same thing. So he just got let off with a warning. He went home and thought absolutely nothing of it. He booted up his PS5 and started playing some COD until he heard some barking outside his house. And at first he just thought it was a dog and he ignored it. And then he realized, that does not sound like a dog. And yeah, it was not a dog. He opens the door to 5 furries barking and walking around. And he was like, what the hell are you guys doing here? Like, I don't know what you guys think you're doing here, but I'm calling the police right now. This is ridiculous. And then when he opened the door, that was a mistake. All 5 of them just barged into his house and took his PS5 while it was still on and running. Like, the cords were just fucking dragging everywhere, and they were, like, throwing it on the steps, and they were just doing all sorts of shit with it. And he was held back by 2 other furries, and he was bitten if he tried to move. But thankfully, his mom got home in the middle of all this, and was able to call the police. Well, he grabbed his friend, which was the guy who had the PS5. He just tackled his friend to the ground and ripped the PS5 out of his hands and just took it back. And it's crazy that these kids are almost 18 years old. That is nuts, bro. Like, what? Like, this this dude went from a completely normal kid before quarantine to now after quarantine a furry that's like absolutely deranged. That's nuts, bro. But all 5 of them ended up getting caught, and now they're all serving time in juvie until they turn 18. And now he's a bit concerned for what's gonna happen after that, but he could probably kick all of their asses. He's putting in that work on bench, so nah, it's wraps for them. Alright, so anyways, the next story comes from a subscriber who's in 5th grade at the time, and we're gonna call her Julie for the video. And now she had recently transferred from her old elementary school after it had been shut down. She was pretty new there, and she didn't really know anybody except the kids from her old school. She made a few new friends, and she was having a pretty good school year so far. That's until she met this kid. She was absolutely insane. She had the most greasy hair. Like, it looked like it hasn't been washed in weeks. Like, it looks like that shit could light on fire in any second, bro. Now, of course, her first introduction to this weird girl was not a hi, hello, my name is, Erica, or whatever. Or her first introduction to this girl was her literally just running up and just barking at her for absolutely no reason at all. Like, she just started growling at her and just doing some weird shit. Like, she really had to lay down the land just by fucking barking at her. And, you know, obviously that provoked in a lot of people's heads, all right, well, we should not go near that person. And she would just do this all the time. Like, she would just go around and just, like, meow and bark at people for no reason at all. And she would, like, provoke people into, like, trying. But thankfully, her teacher caught on to this pretty fast and didn't take any of her bullshit. But this girl would also blab to people about how she apparently had depression, unaliving thoughts, anger issues, autism, and the list goes on, but those were the main ones that she would talk about all the time. Now, talking about this stuff that you have in the 5th grade is crazy. Like the fact that she had to reveal this to everybody, yeah, it just makes everybody think, yeah, you're clearly just doing this for attention. Like, you don't have it at all. And it's just insulting to people who actually have these things. And she was the type to start drama over every little thing, hence why she was probably doing this for attention. She would start drama over stupid things like, oh, it's my turn on the monkey bars. You just went on the monkey bars. Or if somebody cut the line, like, I don't know, in dodgeball and shit like that, like for who was going to get back in. Like, she was really petty for no reason. This one time in particular when she was hanging out with her friend group, they had about like 4 or 5 people in the group. And they were just chilling on like these little platform things. She didn't really know how to describe them exactly. And they were just chilling there, and this weird furry girl came up to them. Now, she's, you know, she considers herself a furry, but she does not meow at people or wear fursuits in public. But one of the guys in the group accidentally stepped on this girl's foot. He apologized, and this girl started screaming her head off for no reason. Like, bro, the J's got a little bit dirty, whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, there's no need to scream about it. Like, the shoes are going to get dirty no matter what. And I don't know, like, if she was screaming because, you know, oh, fuck, bro, the J's are dirty. Or if she was screaming because, like, I don't know, she was pretending like her foot hurt. I have no idea. But the teachers came over and just looked at us and just started running over. This girl went over to the vent and, like, tucked herself into a little ball and started fake crying with her head into her hands. Their entire friend group started laughing because, like, it was obviously so fake. It was ridiculous. And they got accused of bullying and calling her names, even though they did none of that. And then she proceeded to start calling them names, which makes absolutely no sense. Like, this girl was not practicing what she preached, apparently. And now the teachers know all this girl's bullshit because she's tried to pull things like this before. They just told them to politely stop laughing, and then they just took this girl inside. She got suspended for lying and hasn't talked to them since. Now she's in middle school, and she still knows this girl, and apparently she's now lesbian, even though last year she was homophobic. I don't know. It's just not lining up at all. Like, this girl is clearly doing all this for attention. Like, I don't think she even, like, stands by half of these. Like, she's fucking flip-flopping over and over again. She's not in any of her classes anymore. She doesn't really see her that often. But what it seems like is happening right now is that she's just going to enter another phase, outgrow another one, and just continue to do that for, like, you know, a couple more years of high school and so on and so forth. For those of you that missed my last video, I have a plushie on the market for my second channel, Birdie. The link's in the description if you want to buy it. Comment furry if you made it this far. You are a true goat if you made it this far. Thank you, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.